How come when I'm off for break, that's a week and a half long, let's say at Christmas time, it goes by like in 2 seconds. Yet, if NHL players are off for a week and a half, it seems like an eternity. Anyway, it's been a while, but it's time for another episode of... Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome to another episode of my Calgary Flames in 6. Here we are, up to episode number 10 here. That's how long I've been doing this now. This is where we'll recap how the Flames done in the last 6 games of the 2018-19 regular season. And we're looking at games 49 to 54 in the 2018-19 regular season here. And in between that, it was the All-Star break there, which hence I asked that question in the opening there. When you're off for a week and a half, it goes by in 2 seconds, yet when the Flames are off for a week and a half, it seems like a year and a half. So, as I'll do is I'll recap the last 6 games here, and I'll even toss in a bonus All-Star game material here as, knowledge that happens, but to me it's just a glorified 3-on-3 pond hockey tournament. So anyway, if you like everything I do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and how I say this last 6 game segment is gone. I mean, we won against teams that were definitely below us in the standings here, but things are tightening up here. If I, when I asked that question back in episode 7 here, do we consider the Flames Stanley Cup contenders here? And it's definitely tightening up at the top here as I go through here. So I'll bring out my notes here and let's recap games 49 to 54 here. So let's start off here. Let's go all the way back to Friday, January the 18th. This was a game that we took on the Detroit Red Wings. That was a 7 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome here, and the Flames definitely put away the Detroit Red Wings with a 6-4 victory here. Special teams was definitely special for the Flames this night. They scored 3 power play goals and continued their league leading shorthanded with a goal themselves. So the big third period was definitely the difference here because Detroit and Calgary traded goals in the first 2 periods, and it was tied at 2 after 2 there. And then who led the way for the Calgary Flames this game? Sam Bennett had 2 goals and assists, as well T.J. Brodie had a goal and 2 assists. They each had 3-point games here, and James Neal had a goal and assist as well in this game. So definitely some offense to go around here. I got to highlight that Dylan Larkin for the Detroit Red Wings, one of their young forwards right now, had 2 goals for Detroit here. And this game, actually, Mike Smith started the net here, and with the goal support there, 31 saves by Mike Smith was enough for the 6-4 victory here as the Calgary Flames feasted on their wings here. So the next night here for Game 50 happened on Saturday, January the 19th here. The Calgary Flames made the trip up to QE2 to Edmonton to take on the Edmonton Oilers. That was a Hockey Night in Canada game, 8 p.m. puck drop. And it was definitely all Flames in this edition of the Battle of Alberta here, as Mark Giordano led the way with a goal and 2 assists, as well as Sean Monahan and Michael Backlund each had a goal and assist here. And Johnny Gaudreau, he kept his point streak alive at 11 in this game. And I even got to mention Oliver Shillington. He was able to get the eventual game winner in this one, probably putting the 5-hole through Mikko Koskinen here. And another thing I'd like to highlight here is that we kept Connor McDavid pointless in this game, which definitely has been a rarity. I mean, he's one of the top players in the league here, and he definitely always seems to get a goal and assist with against the Flames here, but definitely a great all-around performance for the Flames here. If we kept Connor McDavid off the score sheet here, Dave Riddick, he only needed to make 22 saves in there because our defense definitely suppressed the Oilers here. So the Flames continued their strong January here. So game 51, it was the last game before the All-Star break here. It happened on Tuesday, January the 22nd. We took on the Carolina Hurricanes, and since that big trade that we made with the Carolina Hurricanes at the draft last year. Definitely has a lot more scrutiny here because a lot of players, former players for each side, came to play here. And I should also mention that former Hurricanes coach, now Flames coach, Bill Peters and Johnny Gaudreau were the only Flames representatives that went to San Jose for the All-Star game here. But Carolina actually came out strong here, but the Flames definitely were able to keep Carolina's shots at the side here. I mean, the Hurricanes are definitely, when it comes to quantity, they definitely like to take quantity shots, but not all of them are quality here. How to start out here is that David Riddick was definitely strong when he needed to be at the points in this game, but Oliver Shillington, he actually scored another goal in this game, so he had a goal in back-to-back games here. And Dougie Hamilton, remember him? He actually tied it up in the first period there for the Hurricanes late in the first, so it was 1-1 after one here. And after Mark Jankowski scored in the second period here, it stayed 2-1 for the Flames for much of the game until one of the Hurricanes' top leaders, Sebastian Aho, he actually tied the game in the last minute there, and it forced overtime. And Michael Backlund, it only took him 15 seconds in overtime to put this one away and give Calgary a 3-2 victory here. And what was significant with this game is that in the month of January here, Calgary had a point in 9 straight games here. So this victory allowed them to collect points in the standings for 9 straight games here. So that was it for January and how the Flames did up before the All-Star game. So after the All-Star game, Game 52, that was on Friday, February the 1st. Coming into this game, Johnny Gaudreau was named the first All-Star of January here, as he collected 18 points in 11 games here. So Johnny Gaudreau is definitely making a case for himself to potentially be a Hart Trophy nominee as one of the most valuable players in the NHL here. And another big name that actually didn't get to play in this game was Alexander Ovechkin. He decided to not take part in the All-Star game, and if you're named to the All-Star game and you're not injured, you got to sit out for a game, which is kind of dumb. But Alexander Ovechkin, considering all the hockey he played this last year and all the times that he was partying with the Stanley Cup, he definitely, I guess you could say, he earned one game off here. But Washington didn't seem to miss him too much in this game, as Washington did start off early and late in the first period and took a 2-1 lead after one. And after when Tom Wilson scored to make it 3-1, like 20 seconds into the second period there, Garnet Hathaway scored to make it 3-2 a couple minutes later, and it was 3-2 Washington going to the third period. Elias Lindholm tied the game at 3 midway through the third period, and then unfortunately Evgeny Konechny scored with the last minute of the game to give Washington the 4-3 lead and the eventual win here. So this game ended 2-team streaks here, as Calgary's point streak ended at 9, and Washington actually was on a 7-game losing streak coming into this game, believe it or not. So that definitely ended 2 streaks there for the teams. And actually, after the buzzer here, there was still some action going on. Is that a brawl ensued? Is that Nick Backstrom definitely took a cheap shot on Johnny Gaudreau. He got an interference penalty there at the end of the game, and Matt Tkachuk definitely took exception and fought with Brooks Orpik, so they both had fighting majors in this game. So Calgary definitely didn't win this game, but then they came out with the fight where they showed some resiliency to at least tie the game and still stick up for each other, which has definitely been one of the strengths of the Flames all season here, which is what made them as strong up to this point here. So now Game 53, which was on Sunday, February the 3rd. That was at the PNC Arena. That was a 12 p.m. puck drop, Super Bowl matinee here, and let's say the trade definitely played a role on both sides a lot more in his team, but the former Canes definitely pulled through for the Flames here. As Derek Ryan, one of the guys that we signed in the free agency here to provide some depth scoring in the bottom 6 forwards, he delivered with a goal and assist. Elias Lindholm scored the first goal of the game, and Noah Hannafin, the defenseman, scored the go-ahead goal in the third period and the eventual game winner there. So definitely the former Canes all delivered for the Calgary Flames here. And when talk about players involved in the trade here, Michael Furlan had 2 assists for the Hurricanes here, and Doug Hamilton had a goal and assist for the Hurricanes to complete everyone who was involved in the trade here. Other than Adam Fox, there was no word if he was in attendance in this game, but he's still in school in Harvard, so he's still the big question mark on the trade to really complete this trade. But it's definitely, both teams have benefited from trade here, but it's definitely favored Calgary a lot more strongly than Carolina at this point. So anyway, the Flames were outshot in this game, 37-32 there, but a lot of shots were kept outside. But big save rate, Dave. Especially in the third period there, because Carolina looked strong in the first half of the third period here before the Noah Hannafin goal to make it 4-2 there. The Flames were able to keep most of the shots outside, as Carolina, they're definitely, as I mentioned when I was recapping the game when Carolina was here, they definitely like to take a lot of shots, but they're not all quality shots anyway. So here we go, game 54. The last game to recap in this 6-game segment was on Thursday, February the 7th. We took on the San Jose Sharks. The game was back home, Scotiabank Saddledome, 7 p.m. puck drop. Actually, I forgot to mention that the game for the Washington Capitals was at the Capital One Arena. It was a 5 p.m. puck drop on February 1st there, but we probably could have figured that out. But this game, disappointment was definitely the word of the day for this one. Not only because we lost this one badly, but it was very, very tame compared to the last time those two teams met on New Year's Eve here. There definitely wasn't as many fireworks on the ice like you had at the end of the game there. But, San Jose capitalized on Calgary mistakes early here, as Mark Jankowski, believe it or not, actually scored first for the Flames here. Flames had an early 1-0 lead, but after Dave Riddick got pulled after goals by Evander Kane and Brent Burns midway through the first, and there was some debate on, should they kept him in or not, but, then Mike Smith took over. He allowed a goal by Thomas Hertl there, but, can't really evaluate the goaltending on both sides of this game, but, the Flames definitely looked flat in this one, and didn't look as inspired as they was. Both Thomas Hertl and Evander Kane had big games for the San Jose Sharks here. He had 2 goals each and an assist, as well as former Hitman goalie Martin Jones. When the Flames did fire some shots his way, he stopped everything. He looked just like the Martin Jones that I saw back in 2010, where he led our junior boys to the Memorial Cup there. He had 36 saves in the win for the Sharks, as the Flames at some points in the game were trying to get back in it, but they unfortunately lost this one 5-2 to end the 6-game segment on a down note here. And also, this was definitely a huge potential 4-point swing here, because now the gap for the first place in the Pacific Division has definitely tightened up here with the Sharks win here. So before we get down and cover up some numbers here, let's throw in some bonus NHL All-Star Game material here. I'm just going to go over each skills event and who won and the games and the MVP of that, because I just say at this stage, I did actually have it on as background TV, but it's a glorified 3-on-3 pawn hockey tournament, if you ask me. So all the All-Star festivities and that was in San Jose at the S&P Center. So the skills competition happened on Friday, January 25th. The Bridgestone NHL fastest skater, I went to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. He did that lap around the ice in 13.378 seconds there. Enterprise NHL Premier Passer was teammate Leon Draisaitl for the Edmonton Oilers. He had 1 minute, 9 seconds, and .88, whatever that means. I'm not quite sure how that game started, how that they played that game, but the next event was the Ticketmaster NHL Save Streak. I know that's when Each goalie gets a barrage of fired shots from each team, each division. But Henrik Lundqvist of the New York Rangers had 12 saves in this one. Gatorade puck, NHL puck control. That actually went to our guy, Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Hockey of the Calgary Flames. He did it in 27.045 seconds here. SAP NHL hardest shot. That went to John Carlson of the Washington Capitals at 102.8 miles per hour. And the last event from the skills competition was the Honda NHL accuracy shooting. That went to David Pastrnak of the Boston Bruins, and he did 11.309 seconds here. So, when you hit the targets there, but that was the skills competition. So Saturday, January the 26th, it was Saturday evening, and kept the Hockey Night in Canada routine going. Was when the games were played. So the first game, you had the Central Division play the Pacific Division here, and the Central definitely ran away with this one in the first half. They play 2 10-minute periods, 3-on-3, which is why I keep calling it a glorified 3-on-3 pond hockey tournament. But the Central Division won this game 10-4. Bill Peters coached the Pacific Division because we had the lead at a certain point of the season, and actually Johnny Gaudreau did actually score a goal in this game. But Paul Maurice was coaching the Central Division team as the Jets were leading. So that was game 1. Game 2 was the Metropolitan and the Atlantic Division, and the Metropolitan won this one 7-4. As the Washington head coach, I forget his name for the Washington Capitals there, but Donald John Cooper was coaching for the Atlantic Division there. So the winners of game 1 and 2 faced off against each other to play in the third game for $1 million. And the Metropolitan beat the Central Division 10-5 there, and Sidney Crosby, believe it or not, this was his first time he won the MVP there, and I guess to add legend to the story here, he was too sick to play in the skills competition there, but Sidney Crosby had 8 points in this game, so yeah, that's the All-Star game, and that's all I'm going to talk about the All-Star game now. So when it comes to the standings, the Calgary Flames after 54 games are 34 wins, 15 losses, and 5 overtime or shootout losses for 71 points. Right now, that still put us first in the Western Conference and second overall in the NHL. But after last night's loss to the San Jose Sharks, the San Jose Sharks are actually now only 2 points behind the Calgary Flames for first in the Pacific. But we do have a game in hand on the San Jose Sharks. And the Winnipeg Jets are actually 2 points behind the Calgary Flames to take first spot in the Western Conference. Both the Flames and the Jets have played 54 games here, so I'll go over player stats and that in the next video here. I threw in the All-Star game as a bonus for this video here. So looking ahead here for the next 6 games, which will be episode 11 here, I think we're going to have a little tougher road trip here looking ahead, because there's definitely some intriguing games here, which be a big test here to see where the Flames are at coming out of the All-Star break here. So game 55 will be Saturday, February the 9th. The Calgary Flames are off to Vancouver, or no, actually they're hosting the, no, actually they were at the road to take on the Vancouver Canucks, and that game's on Hockey Night in Canada, and that's an 8 p.m. puck drop here. And the Canucks, believe it or not, have actually exceeded expectations this year, and have actually beat us 2 out of 3 times here. So that's game 55. And then game 56, which is on Tuesday, February the 12th, the Calgary Flames take on the Tampa Bay Lightning at the Amalie Arena. 5:30 puck drop. Stanley Cup final preview. I can dream at this point, but if last game was any indication where we forced the Lightning to a shootout here, let's hopefully that game is just as stunning as it was back before Christmas there. So game 57, the Calgary Flames will be taking on the Florida Panthers. That's on Thursday, February the 14th at the BB&T Arena, 5 p.m. puck drop. I mean, I feel where the Florida Panthers are at this stage, this game should be winnable. And then game 58, Saturday, February the 16th, the Calgary Flames take on the Pittsburgh Penguins at the PPG Paints Arena. That's 11 a.m. puck drop, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Let's hope I'm not drinking after this game, but hopefully the Flames will be extra motivated after getting their butts whooped 9-1 back before Halloween there. And if you go back to episode 3 there, I actually did literally have to drink before recapping that game, and I had to chase it with some dessert afterwards before I moved on the rest of the recap there, so you can watch that and watch me enjoy a little drink there. So after that 4-game road trip here, the Calgary Flames, game 59, will come home on Monday, February 18th. This is family day at the holiday. We'll be taking on the Arizona Coyotes at home. That's a 2 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome here. And then game number 60 here on Wednesday, February the 20th here. This will be an interesting one as we take on the New York Islanders here. That's a 7:30 puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome here. And the New York Islanders have, they're also, wanting to be in the Stanley Cup contender conversation too, as they've been on a tear. And who thought the New York Islanders would be where they are, especially after losing John Tavares there in free agency to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So anyway, this is episode 10 of my Calgary Flames in 6 here. I'm going to say the Flames, they're still looking pretty good right now, but it's just how we looked in those couple losses against teams that you can still label as potential Stanley Cup contenders that, they'll be putting a mantle on them too high. Or I'm going to say the next 6 games is definitely going to decide how high of Stanley Cup contenders we can label this team. But anyway, if you enjoy everything I do on my YouTube channel, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and as I always say, I'll see you at the next video.